Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. And before we begin this, I want to say, yes, this is not financial advice. We are going to talk about my prediction on who's going to win the 2024 WNBA MVP. And that will lead us into talking about some bets related to this market. I want to say this, on the Green Means Go channel, I do talk betting fairly often, but I only like to talk about betting when there is a promotion involved or some kind of inherent edge. I don't want to be the guy who just gives out these degenerate picks like the masses do. So I'm going to talk about this, but understand I'm not trying to coax you into anything you're not comfortable with. So if this presentation sounds good, do with it what you will. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. Here's a preview for what we're going to talk about in these quick 5 minutes. We're going to give you my pick right away. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win the MVP on the next slide, because you may not want to watch all 5 minutes. Some of you just want to pick, you want to lock it in, and you want to be done. But I'm going to give you the explanation should you want that. We're going to talk about last year's voting and why I think it plays a role in this year. We're going to talk about the legitimate, realistic candidates for 2024, and then some stats as we go into it. So Alyssa Thomas is my pick to win WNBA MVP. Right now, her odds are sitting at 700 and 700, 7-1 on FanDuel and ESPN. If you don't know what that means, if you bet $10 and she wins, you will win $70 profit. $1 wins $7, $100 wins $700. You get the idea. MGM, DraftKings, and Caesars all offer similar lines, but slightly worse. So if you are going to bet it, which we'll talk about at the very end, FanDuel and ESPN would obviously be where you would like to target your wager. Let's talk about last year, because I paid attention to this, because I also bet on this last year, so I did have a little bit of a rooting interest. Breanna Stewart ended up winning the MVP for her second time. She won in 2018, as you see down here. Okay. Alyssa Thomas, my pick for this year, finished in second place. A'ja Wilson finishes in third. A'ja Wilson has also won twice. So I think there were a couple things at play here. The first thing I want to point out to you is that Alyssa Thomas got the most first place votes. Of all the voters, Alyssa Thomas was voted for as the MVP more than any other player, but she did not win. That's the first time that that's ever happened in WNBA MVP voting. She did not get a lot of second place votes because all the second place votes that didn't vote for Alyssa Thomas went to A'ja Wilson, okay? So Breanna Stewart kind of wins this one in a weird way where she just kind of, everybody, it's like when two political candidates in the same party run together and they split the vote. That's kind of what happened to Alyssa Thomas and A'ja Wilson last year. Now, not that Breanna Stewart was not deserving, but there was a lot of outcry about this. How does a woman win the most first place votes and not win the award, right? It seems kind of weird. I think there are a couple things in play. One, they didn't want to give it to A'ja Wilson again. And we'll talk about some of the psychology behind the voters and the bet in the first place. But I think there's something to be said about not wanting to give it to the same person again if there are other equally qualified candidates. All right. So I think that did play a part in the decision. Now, let's talk about some more details about this. Okay, last year. You see her quote from her teammate here. So, a little bit biased, but there were people who were confused about, especially once the votes were released, how she got the most first place votes but didn't win. There was a social media outcry about this. So my question is there something to be said for a makeup award? Not that she's not deserving of it, not that she won't earn it if she wins this year, but is there going to be something in the voters' minds, likely a lot of voters who voted in last year's, to say, wait a second, Breanna Stewart wins last year, A'ja Wilson may be kind of deserving this year, but Alyssa Thomas got robbed in 2023. I think there's something to that. And I think that's what makes this so interesting. Here are the current candidates and their odds. A'ja Wilson is leading the pack right now, plus 100. Is her odds to win. So she has a 50-50 shot is more or less what those odds represent. Alyssa Thomas is the second best candidate and Breanna Stewart is third. And then you have players, who have a very, 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 very outside chance. I mean, something crazy would have to happen where two of these three suffer season-ending injuries, and it's just kind of a default pick. If these three stay healthy, one of them is going to win the award. All right, so injuries is about the only thing you have to worry about. However, A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart each have 2 titles to their name. And when you have a woman who wins the most first place votes last year, doesn't win the award, and we have the voting come around this year, and she has a chance to win the award for the first time, I just don't see a way that they give it to A'ja Wilson or Breanna Stewart. That's the bottom line. Yes, she has to earn it, but I think the psychology plays a part. Mainly because this is not an objective award. This is not purely stats-based. They put in stats to a computer and a computer spits out an answer. These are humans with feelings, with emotions, with observations, with experiences, and they come to a set conclusion. Stewart, Wilson, and Thomas are all qualified to win the award. All of their statistics are reasonable to expect them to be the MVP, but two of those three have already won 2 awards. This is a case of politics over statistics. And again, this is not in any way a knock to Alyssa Thomas, and we're going to talk about her statistics real quick before we wrap up this video. But when you have the politics playing in your favor as well as the statistics, I'm very shocked to see her number still at plus 700. So what are her stats? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is not going to be just a sympathy award or a sympathy award at all. I do think that snub of last year will play a part, but she will earn it. She's only played 3 games, and I'm not trying to draw a massive conclusion off of a tiny sample size, but they're undefeated right now. The Connecticut Sun are. She is playing a lot of minutes, but the WNBA spaces out their games a lot more than the NBA and other leagues do, so they get more time to rest. They have played the Fever twice, which is sort of inferior competition. I get all the counter arguments, okay? Her stats, though, are pretty incredible so far, averaging 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists, almost a triple-double. And if you think about the NBA, what does the NBA love, okay? LeBron James, yes, was a winner, but he was pretty close to averaging triple-doubles when he won his MVPs. Russell Westbrook, triple-double machine. Jokic, we're seeing modern-day triple-double machine from the big position. Alyssa Thomas is a big, getting close to a triple-double. That is why I think, besides the psychology of it all, she will win this award. So what hurts and what helps? Obviously, if she gets injured, chalk it up as a loss. All right, you're not going to win the award if you miss too many games. If another player comes in and averages 30 or a triple-double like her and wins and wins and wins more games than the Connecticut Sun, then okay, maybe we see them win the award, whoever that may be. I just don't see that happening. What helps us? If A'ja Wilson has any sort of regression in her statistics or an injury or the Aces aren't winning games, obviously that's going to help Alyssa Thomas. And if Alyssa Thomas continues to win with the Connecticut Sun while she's stuffing the stats, that's also going to help. So the bottom line is, should you bet it? Okay, and maybe you just wanted to watch this video to kind of get an understanding of where I'm coming from and you're not a sports bettor, and that's totally fine. That's my pick to win, okay? But if you are someone who may want to turn this information into a profit, and I'm not going to guarantee that by any stretch, but I think there's too much value at 7-1. Given what we saw last year with the voting and the type of player she is, if you simulate that 8 times, she's going to win one of them, all right? I fully believe that. Now, 2 things you need to keep in mind. When you bet on a future market, your money will be tied up. Okay, the WNBA season is going to end fall winter, so you're not, if you put $25 on it, you're not going to see that for a while. Okay, hopefully you get a good ROI on it and it's all good. My advice and what I have done is put some free bets on it. I would put free bets on this wager as long as she continues these statistics all the way down to plus 500. If she's continuing to be near a triple-double and the Connecticut Sun are winning games, and I have a free bet on ESPN Bet, I'm going to put a $10 free bet to win $70 on her MVP spot. I think that is a good use of that free bet. Okay? So that's what I got for you today. I'm still shocked to see this number. I may do a follow-up, but I would imagine, it's May right now, I would imagine by June or July she's down to plus 200. Plus 150. I mean, I think it's going to be her or A'ja as the only possibility. So thank you guys for stopping by. Good luck if you play it. We'll be rooting for her all year. We'll root for all of them, but we'll really be rooting for the Sun and Alyssa Thomas. Take care. We'll see you next time.